Record. Okay, so what are we doing now? I will explain one more time with the recording how to work on your project. First thing, as we discussed here, first step is to roll the choices here, and whichever option appears for you, whoever has rolled it, that is the list of the functions that everyone should work on. What do we mean by the list of the functions? This is the list of functions that you have. Everyone has received these. If you have not received these lists, paper is there in the class, or it's available in the announcement also. Where is the announcement? In your announcements, if you will go to the Canvas announcements section, Algebra 2 end of the year project is showing you everything that you have to do for this project. Step 1, step 2, and here the final project function list is available. If you will click on that, it's available for you in Canvas. It will load with you also. It may take a little bit of time. So what do we need to do now? Once you have selected the functions list, it will appear for you also. I will take you back to the function list here. We just saw that in the main function list picker, what we received the function list 1. So what I will suggest you in this case, to just pick the function list 1 and cross everything else. What do we mean by that? This is your required list. Agreed? Everything else is not for you. If you receive the function list 1, you can cross everything else. That's not for you. What are you working on for next 5 days? You will be working on just this function list. That means on the day 1, you are gonna complete and submit this day 1 submission in Canvas. On the day 2, that's your day 2 submission. Got it? Day 3, day 4, day 5. So once these 5 submissions are done, you're done. End of the year. And you have a smiley face.
So we just do one thing.
End of the year. Before end of the year, which is around 22nd or 23rd of May, you must submit all these. And where are you gonna submit all these? I have told you day 1, day 2, day 3, you have these 5 assignments. Which 5 assignments? These ones. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. The first one, whoever's picked the list, function list 1, they are supposed to submit their submissions for the first day on CubeRoot function. Okay? On the CubeRoot function. And what do they need to do from the CubeRoot function? That is available on this list over here. You see, for this one also, how many options are there? How many transformations are there? This is the transformation list. And whoever selected the first function, they will be working on the first transformation list. That means they can cross everything else. They don't need that. Got it? Making sense now? Better? So over here, you see this transformation list. How many transformations are there? There's 1, 2, 3, keep on going up till 9 transformations. Each of these transformations should go where? To your submission sheet. This is the submission sheet. What was the name of the function that you just picked for the day 1? In your function list, the first function was, if you have forgotten, I will bring it back. The first function is CubeRoot for the day 1. Got it? So the CubeRoot function, you will fill this complete submission sheet by entering the information about the CubeRoot function. So what's the name? Name of the function will come here. Cube root function. Cube root function. Got it? And what I'm going to suggest to you, everyone should do the same thing. Don't forget to put in here the parent function in the circle, and don't forget to put x-axis and y-axis in every single plot. What do I mean by every single plot? Here in the circle, we are putting the parent function, and you can check it. The parent function for the cube root looks like this. You can check it. Where will you check it? In your Desmos. That's a good choice. So cube root function looks like this, and that's what you should put over here. Cube root function in the parent function plotted. Then what I will suggest you is to use the format, the best format for the transformations, which is like this: y equals a times, I will every single time expect, and you should do that, it's an easy thing, write down the function in the same manner. A times, it's a cube root function, so x minus h, x minus h, it's a cube root function, so we can definitely put it like 1/3, and then plus k. Why am I doing that? Because A, H, and K makes it really easy to work on the transformations. A will always be telling you if the function is flipped or not, if the function is compressed or stretched. H will always tell you if the function is moving left or right. And the K is always telling you if the function is moving up or down. These are the key points. Don't forget about it. Okay. Now you have determined the main things. You have written the main function also. So this is gonna help you now to bring in here as a first function transformation. You will put here the number 1, number 2, number 3, keep on going. And then finally, you will be submitting with the first cube root function with each of these transformations one by one. What is the first transformation? For the cubic function, I see that the first transformation is required flipped over x-axis. So tell me what should be the A here. If it's saying flipped over x-axis, then A will definitely be negative. A is going to be negative. And if it's not telling you about the left and right movements, that means H is a 0. That means H is a 0, and the K is also a 0. That's what you will use in the main general function that we have just defined. Now, for the second one, you're not supposed to put anything about A, Y, because it's just telling you up by 1 unit. Up by 1 unit means K equals 1. Is it saying anything about the left and right movement? No. So H here is 0. Is it saying anything about the stretch or the compression or the flip? No. So A is gonna be a 1. A will never be 0. You will put A, the general form of the A is a 1. Does that make sense? Now, I will help you to draw the function in Desmos also as a cube root function. How will you do that? Let's bring it in over here. I think I should have the Desmos also available. Yes. So that's my Desmos. What I will do, I will every single time. We are now working on the cube root function. So I'm typing in here x minus h raised to power 1/3. If it's an exponential function, you saw it can be something raised to power x minus h also, but 1/3 will look like this. That's my cube root function now. Make sense? Now, one more thing that should be clear. -1 The parent function tells me that's the parent function where h is 0, k is 0, a is 1. This should always be the initial state from where you will work on a transformation. What was the first transformation? The one that we are looking at, the first transformation is flipped over x-axis. So what I will do, I will get back to the Desmos, and in Desmos, I will put here a to be -1. With the -1, this is my result. My function will go like this, where in the submission sheet. So let's go back to the submission sheet here. And in the transformation number 1, how will I plot the function? The same way we just saw, but be clear, don't forget it. Every single time you will have to bring in the x-axis and y-axis so that we will know where is the origin. So that's your x-axis and y-axis. And we just saw that the function flipped. It's passing through the 0. It had a 1 and a -1 like this. And my function will be plotted this way. That's the cube root function. And because it's flipped, I will definitely write down the function's form as well. -1 x raised to power 1/3. That's my answer. X raised to power 1/3. Why is it negative? Because a is -1, h is 0, so I don't need to write that. K is also 0, I don't need to write that. So for every function, I will write down its transformed form as well. Did that make sense? And if I will be looking at the second transformation, then what was the second transformation? Up unit 1. If I'm now putting the value of k as 1 over there, in the same function, which function? This one, general function that I have defined for the cube root function, then what should be the expression of the second transformation? That will be y equals, that will be, because we are now moving the function up by 1 unit. So a here is 1, h is 0. So x raised to power, that's what I'm going to write here, x raised to power 1/3. And because it's moving up by 1 unit, I will definitely put here +1. So that's my function, which I will now bring in Desmos and then plot it. Let me show you now in Desmos, how will you bring in that k equals 1? Remember, I told you for each transformation, you will start with 1, 0, 0, parent function. Now, what are we supposed to put there? H is a 0, A is a 1, and k should be a 1. Once I will put the k equals to 1, that's my function, which should go to the option number 2. And that's it. Once you have completed this sheet, I'm assuming that you will be able to complete this sheet. Once it's completed, submit it in Canvas. Once all the 9 functions are plotted, submit it in Canvas again back, and where in the Canvas, I will show you. You need to go back to Canvas in your modules, go all the way down where your assignments are available, and where is it? Over here. Final project, day 1 submission. Final project, day 1 submission. Use this and submit it here. Click on the final submission, day 1. It appears in front of you, submit it over here. All steps explained. On the second day, you will come and work on the second step, second function. What is the second function? Let's have a look on that. Now, we will go back again on the functions list, because you are done with the first day of function list. Once this is completely submitted, you are done with the day 1. So this is gone. Now you will come for the day 2 and you will do the same steps for the cubic function. And as was plotted on the second function list, submit in the second assignment and you're good. That's all is your project requiring from you. Finish all the 5 submissions and done.